Welcome to Ready, Set, Question, a place dedicated to building faith one question at a time. I love apologetics. I love teaching about the authenticity of Scripture. And so I have the pleasure this week of being at a YWAM DTS, Discipleship Training School. So I got my peeps here. Let's see here. Let me just move the camera real quick. Hello, everybody. Hi. We're out by the beach. That is a beautiful island in the Pacific. I don't know if my camera picked that up or not, but we are going to get started. This is going to be a blast. I need to recheck my camera here. Yes, I'm on camera. So what I've done is I've explained the acronym Jesus, which talks about the authenticity of the Scripture. If you haven't seen my video where I dive into the acronym Jesus, go ahead and watch it at some point in time. But now I'm going to have my amazing new friends dive into what they have discovered when it comes to Jewish archaeology. Peace.
All right, so we just went off into John chapter 5. Go ahead and read it.
The whole thing?
Just the part where we were talking about.
Okay. Sir, the invalid replied, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. Well, I'm trying to get in. Someone else goes down ahead of me. Then Jesus said to him, get up, pick up your mat and walk.
Okay, so it's the pool of Bethesda, the one that we just went for. So that's the place where it talks about. We just found out that the book was written in the year 70 after Christ, and it was like the only thing that was talking about this pool was that book until the 19th century. So it was until that when they first found that pool that is located in Jerusalem, that where Matilda has been to. And so yeah, it's just crazy because that's something that I heard before from people that study this of authority of the Scripture, and how this is one book where discoveries that happen are always just proving more the Bible. Yeah, maybe things that are said on the Bible that hasn't been found. It's like you can find those things, but where them things that are found are just like proving more things to the Bible. And this will be one of the cases where it just was not discovered for how long was that, like 1,800 years. And when it was found, it was just proving that thing. So yeah, it was just really interesting, and I just found it on Google Maps. I don't know what is going on with Jerusalem, but for some reason this satellites don't pick up really good quality on Jerusalem. Yeah, it's really blurry compared to the US kind of picture that they put on. But yeah, so it's true. Is in the Bible?
We decided to talk about the book of Esther because she's pretty interesting and we wanted to know more about her.
We're mostly doing Xerxes and his kind of history and where he was born and how he grew up and all that kind of stuff. So he was around the 5th king of Persia, I believe.
Yeah, he was the 5th king.
He was the 5th king of the Empire of Persia, which goes from about the border of India all the way over to the land of Kush, which is in more modern times is known as the land of Nubia, before it was taken over by Egypt and Sudan. I know some stuff about that. Historically, they know that Xerxes' palace was, I don't know, I'm going to pronounce this completely wrong because it's Arabic and it's in Iran. So they have, there's like archaeology sites and all that kind of stuff, like knowing where the columns were and just how his palace was destroyed a lot worse than his father's was, just because when Greece came and attacked after after Xerxes had tried to go take over Greece. They came back and like retaliated and completely and totally just like destroyed his entire palace. What else? So his burial site is also in that same place. It's in like a cave. Not a cave, on like a cliff. And they have like different tombs and stuff in there, and so they've identified that that's actually his body, all that kind of stuff. So then Hannah did some research
On the history, so how the story of Esther and historically Xerxes' history line up. And it's pretty interesting because even though historically there's no record of Esther, the dates in the Bible line up with the dates that actually happened in history. For example, it is mentioned that Xerxes the first sought comfort in his harem following his defeat at Salamis in the 10th month of his 7th year as king. And in the Bible it is mentioned that the selection of choosing the most beautiful woman for his harem was in his 7th year, 10th month. So does that make sense? So.
Pretty cool. All right, good job, you guys.
Yes, so basically the Book of Esther is a wonderful story of triumph of good versus evil, exemplified by the beautiful Queen Esther and the wicked minister Haman. But it's no fairy tale. Basically that all of this was taken at or happening during the, I don't know what year, 18 something? No. Where they found it in the 1800s. But it's just all happening in King Xerxes' palace, which is located where?
In the city of now called Sush, in the western side of Iran. And this is we got this from the first chapter from the Book of Esther, and where it says, let's see, at verse 2, at that time Xerxes ruled his empire from his royal throne at the fortress of Susa. So Susa is called Sush on Google Maps. You want to check it out. Wonderful. It exists. Ancient ruins and all that kind of stuff. Totally there.
Yeah, so it was first located in 1851 by a British geologist called the site of Shisham or something like that. But the French actually secured the excavation with the rights from the government, so the French took it over from the British. Let's see what else. Basically, the French had it for about 90 years until 1884, until the Iranian Revolution. And then that was basically just until 1978. What else? A guy named Jack and his friend, they were archaeologists. Thank you. Archaeologists. Yeah, sure. They had it until 1946, until 1967. That they were doing a lot of the work there. Basically, the French it's so incredible. The French made actual just like remodeled the plans of what the palace and the grounds and the courts and the gardens, all these things, what they would have looked like. And they used primarily just the Book of Esther to use as a reference to go back to what it looked like, and everything lined up with such just critical details, and they could follow through like day to day where she would have been walking, with the banquet hall, how big it was, and how she wouldn't have had to walk through the inner courts, missing the king so she wouldn't get killed, for all these different things, and lining up with the cultural background, but then also like day to day as we see in the word of what she was doing, and it all fit so perfectly that they couldn't deny that this was a place and also that it happened. But yeah, they just confirmed like the gardens, her room, where the throne was, even with all that was wrecked. There was so much foundation, so much evidence that was pointing to exactly how it was all laid out, which was fascinating. But most of their articles, now that they found from the sites with like pottery and different materials, are just in a museum in Paris. But yes, is there anything you guys else want to know?
Great job. So I just want to thank all of the amazing students here at the YWAM DTS. And so I want to challenge you at home, open up a Bible, flip through, find any name, date, place, and then go to Google. You're going to find a ton of stuff that verifies the authenticity of this amazing book. All right, much love and Godspeed. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Ready, Set, Question, where we are dedicated to building faith one question at a time. Now, hey, I've got a question for you. Which piece of archaeology stood out most to you during this episode? Also, if you'd like to learn more and dive into other topics, feel free to visit my website at readysetquestion.com. And thank you to bensound.com for the amazing music.